Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday. It's just always a great way to enter into Holy Week as a community. But I think we hear in our scriptures too, this zeroing in on the Mass itself. We hear in our Passion account, Jesus give us the Mass when he took bread and wine and said, "This is my body, this is my blood, do this in memory of me." But also just the fact of his sacrifice, right, is the mystery that we enter into every time we come to Mass. That's why we have this big old crucifix here in the sanctuary, entering into Jesus' offering of himself for us. One of our 4 parish values here at St. John the 23rd is reverence. Reverence being a respect and an honor for that which is beyond us. First of all, for God himself, and then all the things of God, the people of God, the church, the sacraments, and the gift of the Mass, for example. It struck me too that there's so many great visitors that always come, people in and out of here, which is beautiful. And maybe someone's here for the first time at your first Catholic Mass ever. And so that's awesome, but maybe you recognize it's just different. Our worship is different, and even our space is different. It's opportunities for us to put that value of reverence into place here in our worship here. And so I think this is a good time on this particular Sunday to recognize ways that we can put that value of reverence into practice here in the Mass. And I was thinking of 3 different ways, just even our preparation before Mass starts, and then of course at communion time, and then our being sent forth together. So how do we prepare to enter into worship here in this sacred space? First, there's something in the church called the Eucharistic fast. It's very fancy sounding. It basically means that we refrain from consuming anything except for medicine and water 1 hour before receiving communion, which is actually pretty easy if you think about it, because communion's later in the Mass, we have travel time. It's just one way of setting something aside so that we can be ready to receive the Lord in communion. As we come in, we're getting rid of any gum, food, coffee, smoothies, anything that we might have brought in. We're making sure our phones are not a distraction while we're here at Mass. Before Mass is a much better time to use the restroom if you have to, rather than like during the Gospel or the Eucharistic prayer. Maybe if you're new to the church, you may be seeing Catholics do this little gesture before they go into their pew, like this. It's called a genuflection, down on the right knee, and just to, again, give reverence, honor, respect to Jesus present in the tabernacle, in his blessed sacrament. Then, if we're able to get here on time, sometimes it's hard with little kids to come and settle in and spend some time in prayer and recollection, and what is it that we want to bring to Jesus during this Mass, and what is that he wants to speak to us during this Mass. These different ways that we have reverence even before Mass starts. And of course, at communion time, to recognize that again as a different time for us in our week and even in the Mass, that we come up with a prayerful posture, and that we're making a nice throne with our hands to be able to receive Jesus if we're not receiving on our tongue. If you're not Catholic and you don't want to stay in your seat, you can come up and just cross your arms, and the communion minister will just simply say, "May God bless you." And of course, once you receive communion, that's literally Jesus inside of us. And so we want to go back to our pew and spend some time in prayer, just giving thanks to God for that great gift we have received, and praising Jesus for what he has done for us, and that gift of himself in the Eucharist. And then at the end of Mass, we are sent forth together. At the end of the Mass, there's a blessing from the presider, which I believe there's a grace that's attached to that. And of course, who couldn't use more grace as we go about our week? But then we're all dismissed as a body, as a community. All the different options for the dismissal all start with the word go. We're actually commissioned to go. Actually, the word mass has to do with our being sent. So the whole word even has to do with the very end, when we're all sent as the body of Christ, having received the body of Christ, to go out and to be the body of Christ and bring the body of Christ to the world around us. Jesus even said in our gospel, "Could you not stay with me for 1 hour?" Everything from start to finish is so important for us in our worship, in our practice of our faith, and the reverence that we bring here to the Mass. We saw in our first gospel that the people in their reverence for Jesus, spread their cloaks and their branches on the road before him. So as we encounter Christ here in the Mass today, let us in a new way lay down our life for him, the one who has poured everything that he has into us.